for your end of month accounts receivable, that was $97,824.46. Your end of month balance, $38,287.36. Cash receipts posted to date was $38,220.71. Those bills include $53,588.24. That would leave you with a failed balance of $23,419.83.
Yeah, so stop there for a second, because here's where I had the question. Under operations account, utilities, negative $306,907.77. I'm struggling with that number for November 2025. So utilities, you see that negative 306, what's the,
That is a good question.
Well, that's under 3.8-4, under disbursements, almost the bottom.
yeah, I know where it is on the sheet, but I don't know.
So,
Makes no sense to me. The utilities is for the electric bill, right? And then what utilities is?
I would think so.
But it says checks written 87,000, and that's
Disbursements, utilities. Utilities are paid online. Utilities are electronic payment, right?
Yes.
I guarantee you, we didn't pay no $306,907.
Agreed. So,
That's
is
about water, isn't it?
that going to be the transfers amount, and it was mislabeled?
Okay, so
That's what I think.
you don't have to solve it here, but can you solve it and send an email to the board advising us on and giving us a correct sheet?
and
I'm thinking that is going to be, it should have been recognized as the transfers. So when we look at the bank recs over on 3B2, all the transfers to the disaster relief fund and the transfer to security deposits, I'm thinking that is going to add up to that 306,000.
But when it goes to operations account, it shouldn't go to utilities, it should go to maintenance budget, right?
I think it's mislabeled there.
Or
But yes,
misplaced.
I will verify that and let you know.
Okay. Because all the FEMA money, insurance money is going to the operations account maintenance. Because all the costs came out of maintenance, right?
So
this is about 301.
I believe all of the FEMA money is going to the disaster relief fund.
Okay.
And
But the Plan B money goes back into maintenance. So there's a big chunk of this Plan B that goes back in. When I say big chunk, I'm talking about $80,000.
The 77,000 we looked at, that's
That's the water
in the operations account on the water side. So you got the 77 from the Cat D for the water operations and maintenance, plus the 7,000 and some odd dollars for 292
That's water.
water.
But now we're on
And then
sanitation Plan B is bigger number.
Yeah, that's not been completed yet. That's for that's for all the diesel, or not the diesel, but the diesel pump that we had at IGA and the remaining.
We have two Plan Bs. We have a Plan B that we've submitted that's been paid. Then we have a Plan B that's still active that we haven't submitted.
Correct.
The Plan B that's been paid is a chunk of money that's going to sanitation, right?
It's split between.
So my question is, or not really a question, my statement is, the FEMA money that's sanitation Plan B money that's been paid, that needs to go back into the maintenance operations budget, because that's where it came from. That's how we paid for all these temporary fixes. Griddle pumps, diesel fuel, equipment, all those things, how we pay for it, and we put that back. This is kind of important, because when you put that back, what's going to happen is when we get down into maintenance and chemicals, you're going to be writing us a check. That's what's going to happen, because the base budget is in our management fee. So that means we've overpaid get a motion to seriously approve the treasurer's report, because that's what we just went through, was the treasurer's report. So I get a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we can get into the other financials.
Page. Okay. So yeah, the only time I'm making a note there, 3A7 is the outstanding vendor debt. Link study there of the $450,000 mark.
Yeah, one thing that I do want to point out to the general public, and it's this, is under the Kentucky Dead Water's program now, our number one project for sanitation is debt service. And, you know, it's to pay off all debts under sanitation, will set us back zero. So I'm talking loans, I'm talking vendors, I'm talking AWR, everybody gets paid off. And I think it's important to note that, is that will go a long way in helping us keep rates down. Okay, go there, I'm sorry.
I was gonna reference, I think these should be maybe reorganized next time, because when I look at 3A7, I also want to look at the vendor balance on 3B3 that shows the breakdown of all of those vendors and the amounts owed there too.
Yeah, it normally follows the graph, normally.
It does. The $457,181.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah, okay. Okay. So we're down to 3B3.
Yes, I didn't have any other comments on the other financials.
Okay. So board members, I'd like to get a motion to approve the other financials.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Review consideration to approve bills. Any questions? Motion to approve bills?
So moved.
All right. Second? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You guys are running out of gas on me.
Need to bring more
You're
snacks.
killing me.
The, when you do the workshop on, with the water, you also be doing a workshop.
We're gonna get to that in the minutes, we're gonna vote on that, but yes, yes. But because separate board, we have to,
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
I just,
yeah. Yes, we will. Okay, so let me scroll down through, legal, Dustin.
The first item is chairman update the board on the status of draft easement agreement for Develop Road project new lift station.
Yes, thank you. So, at the last board meeting, board members, I told you that, we came up with a siding plan, the primate he did as the engineer of record, sent it over to, property owners. They rejected it, asked the engineer of record to go back and evaluate, relocating it. The engineers are doing that now. They owe me a siding plan. I was actually supposed to have gotten it already. I've not seen it. Once I receive it, I'll forward it on to the property owners and they can look at it again. My only concern there is where the property owners want it. I think it's gonna cost more money. And the downside of that is when this engineer, or when this project was estimated back many years ago, the cost of the project, the scope of the project had to be reduced to come in to the budget of the approved grant. And so now, by moving it, it may put us in a situation where we have a scope issue. And so, but I'm still waiting on that siding plan, and then I've gotta run it past property owners, and then we've
passed and one fell at Tug Valley. The fail was caused by, if y'all remember, we got a new acid, or we got our acid pump set to automatic flow, and there was an adjustment period of what we were, trying to adjust that. The only option to get that adjusted right is to take that sample. Every sample has to be submitted. We've not had a fail since, but that was the reason for that failure. And we also ordered a better method of testing PAA, to, have that result.
So the pump is working off the acid pump is working off the flow now,
Yes.
but we failed during the adjustment period. So the adjustment period is when you're trying to balance dose rate to the flow rate.
That's correct, yeah. Before it was an all, a manual operation.
Yeah,
And, there's a 4 to 20 million
I know about that,
range, and
yeah.
there was an adjustment period of that, and that's the reason for that failure.
Yeah, well, in the future, when you do an adjustment period on a PA pump, you always set your dose rate high and come down, not low and go high. So you probably felt it on the low side, and that's what caused it. Okay, I understand.
Are we, still on grinder pumps, are we still not using, or using the cheaper ones?
Yeah, we've still got some in the system. For the most part, we've not had that much issue out of them. For the grinder replacement, we're going back with the E1s because that's what we, got majority of in the system.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, those are still doing good.
Those DOD.
About ready to wash in demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about ready to wash in demand. It's how much, it's how much oxygen uptake the water needs, or how much it needs to satisfy the organic content of the water.
I know what's in the solid water.
Yeah. I have a question around develop unbilled customer list to site visit and inspect. Explain that.
Yeah, it was just a, known areas that we have GIS of, lines going through, but there's customers all around it that are not being billed. We developed a list of customers, basically essentially check to make sure that they're, see if they're
Not
on,
into the system.
hooked in or not, yeah.
We have been finding several customers, so.
We don't have a camera system, do we?
We do.
We do. And so,
Well, that's what we're doing that dot testing as well.
yeah, because that's what you do. You run a camera system down and it tells you your taps are at.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're developing this to identify customers that are illegally hooked into the system.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we talk about these things, we put it in terms that, I and everybody else can understand.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
683, repair expenses, October 2025, we're at 34,872 out of 55,000, leaving it at 63%. We're expecting that to be under for the year. Chemical expenses ending in October 2025. I think I told you all last time I added it up from what we purchased, and I think we'll run maybe about $400 over on chemicals. We won't have to order anymore, so we should be good there.
Well, I think that once you put the repair expenses back in from Plan B, it would surprise me if we don't end up with a negative number here. Because I think the dollar value that's gonna go back in is greater than on it yet? I can't remember if I sent it out to you or not. Okay. Maybe I was waiting until I get a final draft and get it out to the board members. But they're doing a good job on pulling that together. Master plan is, it's actually a fairly intense document when you think about it, because not only does it cover the current conditions of our infrastructure, it also addresses recommendations, future projects, and a number of things. So it'll be a good document, and it'll be a good document both with the sanitation and eventually not the water master plan, get those on our website for public viewing. Okay. So that's the two sanitation projects that we have going right now. And then under the SIP capital improvements projects list, we submitted 5 projects for consideration for the Kentucky W Waters Program for 2026. Debt service was our number 1 project. Our number 2 project was countywide lift station replacement. That was to replace every lift station in the county. It's a $10.2 million project. That was number 2. The INS wastewater treatment system improvement project, that is to revamp and make the INS plant bigger and be able to take on multiple kinds of waste to open the door for commercial and industrial applications to go to the plant. That's $8.5 million. Trucks and equipment was number 4 at $500,000. Black log gravity line replacement, $250,000. Those were all our Kentucky W Water sanitation projects that were submitted. And so, let's just be in agreement that the Lord will bless us with those projects so we can make those changes to our system. So that covers the project updates and the capital projects improvements. Let's move on to other old business. FEMA and Kentucky Emergency Management funding status. We've already covered that pretty much. Is there anything else you want to go down through the projects?
I've got all the projects. Do you want to go and do the motions like you did on the water side
Let's.
first?
Okay, yeah. So that's under let's further down. So we'll go ahead and step through the FEMA Kentucky Emergency Management funding.
I was gonna go over the ones that are not complete yet first, and then I'll kind of, go through each one that are complete.
Okay.
The second Cat D, we requested a 6-month extension just to be able to keep charging costs while we make those repairs. The
The
grind.
cost that we're incurring right now, is that primarily IGA or lift station?
Yeah.
Okay.
But as soon as we get that, we'll be able to, submit that for payment.
Okay.
Grinders, actually, that's the only one on the sewer side that's not been complete. Grinders, I had on here, so I can give you an update on that. I went ahead and ordered 75 grinders, which is the amount that we lost through the flood. That's $153,127.50, which leaves $111,127.50 left over. So that's kind of like what you're talking about there. We got $111,000 left over. We satisfied what we lost in the flood through that project.
And that's good. That's in the operations account, right?
After, right now it's still sitting in the disaster relief account.
Okay, but once we satisfy what the board approved, then board, well, we haven't talked about,
We haven't made it that far.
made it that far to, because the board's gonna have to approve a motion to transfer money once we've met the conditions of the repairs.
Yes. And I've not received those yet. That's just how much,
Right.
what the order was. And on my spreadsheet here,
And which grinder was you ordering 75 of?
we ordered the E1s.
Is that wrong or right?
Well, the E1s are the ones that cost around $2,000,
Well, that's.
where the others were costing $300.
So, the Aquas, yes. The
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. AWR update board on insurance claims, so we're waiting on denial letters?
I believe so, Colby's much more
Yeah,
involved with it, but I believe on water and
That's the
sanitation,
same
yes,
thing.
we're
Waiting on
waiting on,
denial.
yeah.
Preston, tell them that without the denial letters, people won't do anything for us.
Okay.
I mean, how hard can it be to write a denial letter?
Yeah, we had that conversation with them, gosh, how many months ago was that?
No, been a minute.
Yeah.
It doesn't take 9, 10 months for a denial letter. I mean, that's beyond ridiculous. Okay. Well, we're on the subject of insurance. Now that we know what FEMA's paying and we know what insurance is paying and not paying, what's AWR's umbrella policy paying? Have you worked that out?
No, we're still waiting on that one too.
What, a denial letter?
No, there will be payment forthcoming on that.
Okay,
yes.
so for our next board meeting, can you tell us?
We'll come with an update on that, yes, and what those amounts, if we don't have the known amounts, what we expect them to be. So I'll get an update on that.
Yeah, so make sure the update is, I want to say concrete, decisive. It's not just a feel-good statement. Just tell us what you're doing or not doing. And that's specific to the infrastructure that wasn't covered under the insurance policy and it falls into the umbrella policy. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else on insurance?
Well, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to C. Consider a motion to approve Alliance Water Resources insurance coverage for 2026 for infrastructure and vehicles.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, consider a motion to approve 2026 budget MOA and chairman to sign. Those dollar values, I cross-checked them against what the board had approved in the budget, they matched.
I'll make motion.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We're almost there.
I know this theme is wing. I can just feel the energy.
Consider motion to approve Foggy.
It's nap time.
PA chairman sign. Again, this is the same thing. It's on sanitation side. That's the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. That's what I need to do. I need to start having the really difficult motions at the end of the meeting. Consider motion to approve master service agreement for subcontractor services. Do I have a second?
Aye. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay.
Discuss increased spending.
Hold on, I'm gonna back up there.
So yeah, back up there because,
What is that about page 6?
well, you're finding that, for the general public, sanitation by far is in far worse financial shape than water ever thought about being in. And to speak frankly, without Kentucky W Waters, and debt service under sanitation, it's gonna take some time to overcome where we are. Because there's just not a lot of avenues for revenue increase. And so you're carrying debt without revenue increase, and in your revenue that you got barely covers maintaining or operating, not really maintaining, it's a problem. So with that, Vernon, is there something that you wanted to point out?
Is this correct that our revenue is almost double?
No,
Okay.
It's 1.6 million actual year to date.
It's FEMA money.
yes.
Okay.
It's FEMA money. So
Alright, so what's real?
here's what's real. Here's what's real. We're
Well,
gonna have
our
money.
expenses are up by about 28,000.
Our expenses are up a little bit. Our revenue is actually up a little bit for the year. So we're 16,000 more negative this year than we were last year.
Yeah, well, that's,
Yeah. That's where we are.
that's where we are.
The good news is, what I was getting ready to say is I anticipate that we're gonna underrun our budgets on our repairs, and we're gonna have additional monies in our operating accounts to address the, overruns.
So this money that's going back into these accounts, that'll hit the revenue side, right?
It already has, that's at $732,000 that you're.
No, but, yeah, but, no, you're saying it was like 80-some thousand dollars
84,000.
that's gonna hit.
That's just the money that we've
Already
spent.
spent.
There's another portion that Tim's talking about of after we make repairs.
It's gonna be in the $300,000 or $400,000 range. It's gonna be significant.
So where's that gonna hit my P&L? Revenue?
Revenue under operations.
Operation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're good. It'll look better next month, right?
It'll look better next month, that's
It'll
right.
be somebody understand, I'll be saying, wow, look at that, I'm better than our revenue.
Maybe a lot of it.
I'm happy.
Okay.
All right.
So we discussed we have increased spending in the tune of roughly, 18K. Our revenues are up 2K, so we're in the whole 16K more this year than we were last year. But we spent a lot more money fixing February and April storm events, and that's caused that condition. But when we put that money back, we're gonna actually be better this year than we were last year.
In spite of that, okay.
Exactly. And that's the story. Okay.
Okay.
So consider a motion convening in closed executive session, board members, I don't think we need that. We don't need to.
I say no.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so, guest speakers?
I said my piece earlier.
All right.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Yes, that's what I want to say. Get some rest.